Hey Swapnil, hi.
Hey Shantanu, your video is black, man. The first technical issue. I can't see your screen. I can't see you at all.
Okay. Uh, no, no, I don't know why, because it's usually okay.
Oh
Let's try.
yes,
Yeah, it's
good. So
it's a
you're
bit.
so you're surrounded by books. Yeah. Good man. Thanks
That.
for taking out time.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure.
Good. But the best
So
part is we decided to do this by just using the digital medium. We did not talk on
yeah,
call. We just exchanged few messages and thanks for accepting this.
yeah. It depends on who sends the message, right?
Oh, right. This will not make your questions easy. Right. So to everyone listening us, guys, this is just a casual interaction. I'm just trying to bring in some positive vibe in this quarantine period, and trying to embark on a series called Quarantine Toasters. It is just few of the episodes that I'm trying to record, not with any professional skills. It's just some casual interactions with some of the best brains in my LinkedIn connections that I am aware of. So so I started with Shantanu. Uh, uh, Again, this is not going to be a talk about the background we come in with. So it's going to be a free flow conversation, more casual talks plus tech oriented discussions, some funny Q&As. But again, this is not with respect to any organization. These are just free flowing questions as individuals. So Shantanu, thank you again. If you want to just briefly introduce yourself, not in a way where you would introduce yourself in a town hall or in an interview, just a casual Shantanu, you know, from your characteristics which you would probably not put up in your resume.
Okay. So one thing is very clear, which you can apparently see that something that gives me more independence in such times because I have an electric razor that keeps me
Good
that
one, yeah.
keeps me atmanirbhar, self-sufficient. But on a serious note, I think I love. You can see that there are books here, and
Yeah.
typically you would find people who are managers, leaders across the love to read management books and so on and so forth. To tell you, I'm not that snobbish. My books, more or less, here are fiction, and they range from directly from fantasy to thrillers. So I'm more of those, confessing very openly that I'm not a very management kind of book reader. I'm not reading human psychology. I'm more about fantasy and a fiction guy. So I would not put that in a resume, but since you
I could
asked,
still feel I could still the vibe of a lot of political correctness in your answer, but I don't want
really,
to double click on any of the symbolic words there. So
okay.
so so how's how's quarantine treating your family? With you being with them for more than 100 days together, which I don't know they were prepared with or not. But
Yeah,
how's that going?
absolutely. I don't think they were prepared. For a person who was at least a week outside of the home, live apart in office because of the travels, and to have him always at home was, I suppose, difficult times for them. They had to get used to me more than anything else. Being me around, kids not having their independence, their dad being around, hey, what are you doing, playing for so long, and all those things. So they had some difficult time.
Yeah, but what is it? One
Uh,
thing which probably your family has discovered about you, which they probably didn't know in the last 2 decades, is shit. Shantanu has even this quality. Or that
I suppose that uh, one of the remarks they said that we thought that work is supposed to be actually done when you are facing your computer and you're typing something, you're writing program or something. But it seems that from 8 or 9 hours that you're working, I think more than 7.5 hours you're just talking to somebody. How's that work? So this is the comment that my elder one gave. But I'll tell you, you know what,
Yeah.
Swapnil, it's an eye opener also. I'll tell you one simple incident that happened a few days back.
Hmm.
Um, I have kind of restricted that, don't come to my room unless it is really important. So
Sure.
this, I have
Every one
made
of
my
us would
own,
do that. Yeah.
yeah, I've made my small nook here, and I've said to people not to disturb me unless it's really, really important. So a few days back, my little one comes in, and sorry, you can still see me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay.
Yeah. So
Just need to readjust a bit. Slide this way. Yeah, it's
ah,
fine. Yeah.
okay. So he calls me and says that it's very important, and he says if I can mute my conference. So I really thought that it's something very important for him.
Yeah.
So I muted and I said that, guys, give me a few seconds. And I asked him what happened. And the thing he said is, you know what? Uh, the elder one, my elder son,
Mm-hmm.
he is not playing with him. This younger one has finished his reading part, his studies and everything, whatever is going on with this electronic schooling and all those things. So he has finished his part, but the elder one is still not playing with him. And I was like shocked. Is this so important? You had to come and barge in my conference and tell me that. And he said, yes, of course it's important. So of course, I pushed him out of the room and everything. But later on, I realized, that the kind of things which are important for our family members,
Hmm.
probably we don't give enough attention to that. And so my
Sure.
being here around them, it opens our eyes to a lot of things. Some things that are important in a certain age for people. If you're not giving that due importance, probably we are missing out some moments.
Sure.
And because
Sure.
of this, it gave me some insight. Yeah.
Sure, cool. So Shantanu, you have had what about 2 decades of various leadership roles. If you were to break down that into some of the main milestones, on a self-reflection plus something major that changed the tech world outside, how would you do that? And of course, you would have made a lot of mistakes then. So how do you correlate this entire thing?
Okay. Okay. Mistakes are in abundance. I really have to start thinking from where I can start saying, because I can take 2 hours just to talk about my mistakes, and that too would be in nutshell.
Wow.
But just to tell you about the milestones and probably some of my mistakes associated with those. Um, the first milestone I would say is the Y2K thing. We were still in the. I was, probably you were in studying then, Swapnil, when I
That's
was
right.
working.
That's right.
So it
I
was
remember
the
the
year.
Y2K Kinetic, series which was launched by Honda at that time. So yeah, so see, that is how
Exactly.
young I was. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
So Y2K, we had just joined the corporate world, and Y2K was something that was growing up. And I think a lot of software professionals that we see today in industry, especially from India, I would say,
Hmm.
is to a large extent because of the whole hype or everything that was surrounding the Y2K thing. At that point, anybody from any field wanted to get into this software. Everybody wanted to
Yeah.
be part of this IT
IT.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that was supposed to be very high paying job. And I think that was clearly my first milestone. The Y2K thing that entirely happened. Um, and then second, I would say is the coming of age of uh, the 3G and 4G programming languages. So we started with that C things and C++, but the moment the third generation C++ and Java emerged, the kind of programming independence that we had, especially in that days when we were really, really eager to do lots of coding and everything, I think that was a. Gosh, I really have to hold this thing. It
No,
just
that's okay.
pause again.
That's okay. If it falls for the third time, it's okay. You are. I mean, we can move to the next segment, but that's okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
So I'm saying that the programming language thing was a next milestone for me because I felt that there was a lot of power in my hands. I can do anything that I want to do. I can
That's a
code
good
anything.
belief
So
to have. Yeah.
yeah. So you can imagine, somebody who's in their 20s, the just breaking out 24, 25s, and you can practically feel the power of programming language. It's a personal milestone for me. And then I think it was 2005 or 6, Steve Jobs came along with iPod and changed the world. I think that's
Yeah.
huge milestone in the entire industry. The whole apps thing that started out, I think that's the thing. Um, After that, I'm not really putting the whole agile thing and the whole DevOps thing that started. That's more of a methodology. I don't want to put it as a milestone. But I think the next one was, to me, the 4G thing,
Mm-hmm.
from the convergence. I'm more important about the convergence that brought in, about that entertainment can be at your fingertips. The whole, this war about the blockbusters and Netflix at a certain point of time, we found it funny, but I think that changed the world. They
Sure.
changed the world how IT is there, and every common man is now. My dad watches, I don't know how many Hotstar and Woot and everything. He doesn't know much of the other operations, but he knows how to watch his serials. In fact, my mom knows that as well. I think that's what 4G did, to have all this entertainment at your fingertips.
Well, I think that
And let's see
was,
what.
yes, just to add, that was the ideal birth of the word digital infrastructure or the digital
Absolutely.
ecosystem, and how
Absolutely.
digital got so much importance, around say 2013, 14, about five
Exactly.
years back. And then there is this
Exactly.
whole, I don't know, branding or the actual validation or the adoption of how the digital word, came in. And I know you are a big fan of digital, in a nutshell, be it personal or
Yeah.
professional. So how did you, adapt to that, both technically and in your personal life?
Yeah, just to tell you, and it shows my age as well and being a dinosaur as well. When I say about digital, I started something from my programming days from
Yeah.
COBOL. And that's why I said then after when I moved from COBOL to Java and C++ and MFC, it really gave me that power of coding. So I've seen that transition coming out of from COBOL with those black screen and those green digits coming on there and coming to this
Yeah.
digital. I think it's I think a privilege of the people who are born in the 70s. I would say that's something
Yeah.
which probably you didn't see that. So
Although people still love black screens, by the way, I still know great professional individuals who are part of my LinkedIn contact list. They still love the black screen until and unless they don't see the black screen and the C prompt and the DOS prompt there.
yes,
They cannot
yes,
start their day. Windows is still a tough deal to accept for a lot of
I,
techo guys or techie guys, whatever you say. Yeah.
and I can resonate with that feeling. I can absolutely resonate with that feeling. But from the digital perspective, I think it's indeed changed the world, and it is still changing. One of the things that I see is, will happen with the whole 5G thing and the whole digitization that we are talking about, is that while most of the world, most of the country is connected, I think the last leg about connecting the rural parts, the parts which are still so-called unconnected, and that will happen in a couple of years that have started now. So I think in 2 or 3 years we'll see the world really turning out. I don't want to be sounding a very the corporate language, but I think it will
Yeah.
start become a global village. That would be the next milestone that could be around. And this whole digitization about having your entertainment, having your shopping and everything on your fingertips, um,
Yeah, but that's an
is a
interesting
different world.
point. I just want to interject there. So when you say you have, India especially, or a lot of Asian or African parts of the world, you have an equivalent rural part and an urban part, right? While the rural is
Yeah.
still struggling, I don't know if that's the right word, but rural is still struggling for the last mile.
Hmm.
But on the other side, people are talking about 5G in the urban side of the world. So how does, what's your view on that balance? Is it a realistic time, first of all? I know I'm a big 5G proponent myself, but is it even realistic for for these urban and rural kind of scenarios?
I think it's absolutely real, and I will tell you that 5G would be, see, most of the time, if you trace how the technology has moved, it doesn't go the linear way. It doesn't complete. So just look at what happened in Africa. Africa had hardly any infrastructure, but they were some of the first adopters of this whole digital money. You can say that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So technology always takes jumps. It doesn't move in a straight line. It doesn't go linear. So I think this whole rural connectivity will be to a great extent brought forth by the modern technology. You can say there
Sure.
will be parts of 5G, the concepts of 5G, um, but it is there. The whole thing about I don't think it's a science fiction that we are talking about the whole IoT and agriculture mix,
Mm-hmm.
and the farmers being on the last mile, being able to connect to the modern world through the IoT or through the technology is something which is very, very real and around the corner. So I
Sure.
think that's
So,
waiting to happen.
yeah. So, Shantanu, any say if you had to pick up three three takeaways from your experience, right, and share with uh, your team members or your connects who are who would be listening this, what would those three takeaways slash experiences would be, which they can really bank on, right? That so what would that be?
I,
Two or
I
three
think,
important ones. Yeah.
yeah, I think first is the realization um, that no, there's in this new world of this new ecosystem, there's not going to be one person or one company or one organization who's going to make most of the money. The world is changing for better in the sense that I've said this earlier also. This is, I personally like this sentence that the era of disruption is getting over and the era of collaboration is starting. So I think anybody who is getting into the digitization has to focus heavily on partnerships. The more they are going to invest into having a collaboration platform, the more they are going to have more partners. This is one thing that they should understand, that the more partners they have, the more diverse they go, it's better for them. So this is one.
Sure.
The second is investing into the people and culture. I think this is all the time stays, but it becomes more relevant now as things rapidly change. Um, so if see people, every organization has people who were born in 70s, right?
Yeah.
So as long as you're not changing the mindset of the overall organization, if you're not investing in people and the culture that we have, we will not see that kind of spike in growth. So this is the second. And third, moving towards adopting technology, even if it means that there would be some failures. I think it's important. I think it's
Sure.
important that your organization has um, talent invested into cloud computing. You have talent invested into this edge computing. You have talent invested into whole the thing of cloud native function and everything. So this network on cloud and everything, even if something vanishes after a few years, it's important that this is the time that to invest in technology, um, because there will be variants coming in. But this time which has come to have this interface with all these new technology is of a golden thing, and I think it should be grabbed. So these are the three things
Sure.
I would say: collaboration, partnerships, people, and investment into the culture, and the third is the technology.
Sure, wonderful. A lot of takeaways from that, guys. So, Shantanu, before we go on to our fun quiz part, you want to take a shot at asking me anything, or you can pardon me.
No, I can ask you something. Tell me about this. You are meeting so many customers. You are meeting customers right across APAC. You are meeting people in the very modern countries like Japan. You're talking to people in US. What is the common thing that you find? What is that? you see, this is something which is common across.
So I think the the hunger to learn, the hunger to learn both ways. I am a great I'm a great techno functional guy myself, which means great in a way that I love to learn, I love to adapt to new things, and that's a likewise vibe that I find talking to any customers these days. What is new that that you can help us with? What are these typical problems? Some of the there are certain problems and certain issues which are same across customers, right? How do I as an individual and the team adapt to that, right? And again, now it's not of a customer vendor relationship. A lot of customers have this partner customer relationship, and trust me, me as an individual, about 2 or 3 years back, used to think that TK partner is more of a is more of a fancy word. But when you start talking to them and start working with them, if if they don't see you as a long term serious player, they don't want to engage with you for a one-off partner kind of, or sorry, one-off vendor kind of a relationship. So I think that is what is pretty common across multiple customers whom I work with. Yeah, and that's been the trend across last several years. Yeah,
And if I'm allowed to have one more step,
yeah.
Swapnil. Uh,
So you are
uh,
20 years into the industry, so you can have as many stabs as you want. I'll
no,
I'll I'll only be able to learn from you. So go ahead.
no, what's your take on the monetization with all this 5G thing? How is the take on the monetization? What are the CXO group talking about across different countries with the whole investment into infrastructure?
So I think this right. So this is one of a familiar question. I had a privilege to attend 5G World Congress last year somewhere in the Middle East, and one of the themes there was monetizing the next gen infrastructure with a wave of 5G, and they even talked about 6G. I mean, I personally believe, and having talked to a lot of customers as well, and partners, of course, that look, monetization is still slightly far off. Currently, I think more focus by the global operators, not India. More focused by the by the global operators. How soon can we launch 5G? Even if
Mm,
that's with one use case, they don't care if they have any. At least that's my personal takeaway again.
mm,
They won't care if there are 10 use cases to offer or 5 use cases to offer. If there is a business model around one use case, which
mhm,
at least gives them a visibility for the next say 6 months or 12 months, that's the use case which they will bank on, because 5G is still evolving, right? 5G is even the standards are not are not freeze with the standard bodies in the open communities coming together, and then so that's still a bit of talk in the air, and there are a lot of influencing communities around too. But the best thing that has happened in this monetization race is,
mm,
earlier there used to be a vendor led community. Now there are
mm,
operators led community, which means operators themselves
mm,
are intending to drive the network ecosystem in such a way that if they are not able to monetize externally through the end customers, they can at least optimize the network enough to build a 5G network at an equivalent cost of 4G or even cheaper, right? There are multiple
mm,
examples. I think monetization has this multiple flavors in my opinion.
mm, mm, mm. Interesting. Yeah.
Cool. So we move on to good 10 questions, Shantanu, to test if you are a 70s kid. These are very basic
Okay.
questions. Again, this is just for fun.
Mm,
So this round is called Who Am I? I'm going
okay.
to phrase you a technology term, and you have to guess what am I talking about. Right.
Okay.
So just to give you an example, if I say I develop protocols for mobile telecommunications.
IEEE.
Fair enough. That's how it goes. Yeah. Right. So
You had some other answers in mind,
no,
huh?
no, 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 no. Okay. So when I framed the question, I was thinking about 3GPP, which is
Okay.
true as well. So here we go then, right? I am an application protocol used for data communication.
Data communication application protocol. Okay, TCP, IP,
and or HTTP as well.
HTTPS. Okay.
Yeah, I am an open source orchestration system for automating application deployment, scaling, and management. I can repeat
ONAP.
that. Uh,
ONAP is
you're near. No, I can. I will repeat for you. I am open source container orchestration system.
Kubernetes.
Wow, that's right. That's
Okay.
Kubernetes. Good. Next one. Your team will be proud of this. I am a set of platform as a service product that uses OS level virtualization to deliver software in packages.
OS level. Repeat.
Virtualization. I am a set of platform
Hmm.
which works as a service product that
Hmm.
uses OS level virtualization to deliver software in packages that are called containers. Who am I?
Docker.
Very good. That's Docker. Wow, not bad, Shantanu. You're not a 70s kid. You're alive in 2020.
Okay.
You can use me to group the data that is transmitted over a digital network into packets.
Okay. Um, what do I use to do that?
You can use me to group the data that is transmitted over a digital network into packets.
I got it. I don't know. I know that what authenticates them. Tell me about it. Maybe I'm
Packet
not getting
switching.
the packet. Okay.
This is a bit near to your 70s. Yeah. I have I am a free and open source web server that allows to deliver web content through the internet.
You are a free and
Open source web server that
uh,
allows to deliver web content through the internet.
okay. Apache. No, I think
That's right. That's right.
Apache. Okay.
Good going. Good, Shantanu. Right, testing out on a full form. What is the full form of Geo?
Geo.
Yeah, Geo is a full
Uh,
form, by the way.
I don't know.
Give
What's
it a
that?
shot. Give it a shot. Just you just think about them and just think about the way they are building the networks.
No, no. J. I cannot think of. But
Joint implementation opportunities.
oh, wow. I didn't know by the way. Then. Thanks for telling me.
Okay, I am a number equally identifying a subscription in the global system of universal mobile telecommunication system. Who am I?
Repeat that. I'm a number.
I am a number uniquely identifying a subscription in the global system for universal mobile telecommunication.
IP number. IP.
MSISTN.
MSIG. Yes.
Go a bit nearer. ठीक है. Last two then Shantanu. I am the
Hmm.
latest communication protocol that
Hmm.
provides an identification and location system for computers on the network and routes the traffic across the internet. Who am I? I am the
Latest.
latest communication protocol that provides an identification and location of where exactly the computers are in the network.
It
Eh,
was IPVP. One second.
That's right, that's right, that's right.
IPVP 6.
Yes, IPv6. Good. You are 6 on 8. Final one. So from the 70s, right? This is what I
Okay.
mean. I'm just trying to self construct one, right? From the
Okay.
70s or probably 90s. Let me say your
Mm-hmm.
20s. What is the full form of Edge? Edge manu, the
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
for 2G. What's the full form of that?
I don't remember. I know that I use it as I don't remember the full form.
Yeah, it is enhanced data rates for global evolution.
Yes. Now that you say.
Yeah. Good. Thanks, Shantanu.
Oh.
So a brief, a good detoxing, brief, casual chat. Again,
Absolutely.
with just a free flowing conversation. But thank you for being the first guest on Quarantine Toasters. There are a
Thank you,
few
Anthony.
more in the queue, by the way. Some of some of whom we know mutually, some of whom you
Hmm.
don't know. But thank you for doing a Shri Ganesh Nama for this episode.
Would
Thank
be
you.
waiting for having the review of others as well.
Sure, this goes on LinkedIn, just as a public viewing. Uh, just in the capacity of Shantanu Kulkarni and Swapnil Shah, no other burdens besides that name. But thank you very much, Shantanu. Pleasure talking, man. Take care.